I have a bit of a book haul from the past week. I did visit two bookstores, Second and Charles and Barnes & Noble, and I'm gonna go through all the books that I bought. I've actually been really good lately, and I haven't been buying any physical books. Only one, like once in a while if I'm out and about and stumble upon a bookstore, because my physical TBR has been like probably over 50 books this year, and I was thinking, you know, maybe I should read those before I go and buy more. I've also been doing like a lot of audiobooks and reading a lot on the Kindle, so I just figured I should probably hold off for a while. But I had the itch last week, and so I went to two stores. But it's the holiday season. While you're treating others, you should treat yourself. So first up is everything that I got from Second and Charles. If you have a Second and Charles near you, I highly recommend going. They buy back your old books, and I had like 10 or 12 books sitting on my shelf that I just knew I was never gonna read. So I returned them this week, and I got like $16 worth of credits. It can kind of be like GameStop a little bit, where you're like, damn, I just give you 10 books and you only give me $15. But still, it's $15 towards books that I didn't have before. So I put it to good use. Also, they sell their bought back books for pretty cheap, which is great because a lot of them are in really good condition. So I was able to get all 5 of these books for $40, which to me is a steal. I went to Barnes & Noble, I bought 2 books, and I spent the same amount of money. So it's worth it if you have one near you. First up, at Second and Charles, I was able to find 2 books that I did on audiobook this year, and I've been wanting to own the whole series, and that series is Sun Eater. I just finished the Sun Eater series, or everything that's out now, this month with Disquiet Gods. So when I was at Second and Charles, I did a little look-sees, and I found Demon in White and Kingdoms of Death, which are 2 of my favorite books in the series. Demon in White, one of my favorite books I read this year, hands down. If you like sci-fi and you haven't picked up Sun Eater, this is your sign. The audiobook is incredible, and I do really recommend it. The voice actor for Hadrian is just very, very good and very entertaining. But both of these were only $7 a piece, which is incredible, because if I found these at Barnes & Noble, they'd probably be $20. And they are in pretty good condition. There's a little wear and tear like on the spine and a little bit on the pages, but to me, that's no problem. I also picked up another trophy for my shelf of an audiobook that I read this year. I did the entire Red Rising series on audiobook from about April until, I want to say, August-ish. Because I took like a slight break in between and did some other audiobooks between like the first trilogy and the second trilogy. So I picked up Lightbringer while I was in the store because I'm getting the paperback box set for Christmas, and for some reason Lightbringer is not in it, so I had to pick this up. This is $20, but it is brand new, so it wasn't part of the used, because Second and Charles does used and new books. But I was so happy to see this. This is one of my favorite books that I read this year. Lightbringer was just like wholesome, it was fun, it was action-packed, it was suspenseful, and I cried my eyes out at the end of it. So I was really happy to get this to add it to my shelf. I also picked up Joe Abercrombie's The Blade Itself, which is the first book in the First Law series. I saw some recommendations for this on TikTok from other creators that enjoy other books, other fantasy and sci-fi books that I really enjoy. So I figured I should pick him up. I've heard nothing but good things since I posted about wanting to read this, so I'm really excited. This will definitely be top of my list in 2025. I heard the first book is kind of slow, but the ending, things really pick up. So I'll definitely be buying more of his series after I read this one. And I got this for only $8.95. You know for a fact this would have been $20 at Barnes & Noble. And it's in basically perfect condition. I can't find anything wrong with this book. And the cover itself is so pretty. It's got like this foiling on it. Love, and can't wait to try it out. Next new book I bought is the 3rd installment in the Locked Tomb trilogy, as Nona the Ninth, the Locked Tomb series. I know it's not a trilogy because there's more books coming out. I've been reading Harrow the Ninth for the past month, on and off, mostly because it's the book that I'm reading on my Kindle, and I typically only read my Kindle when I'm going to sleep and I'm getting in bed, or like I'm laying down, because it's just easier to hold, or if I'm like out and about. And I'm like 40% through Harrow. The series itself, mad confusing. I won't lie to you and say I know what's going on all the time, but the character work in that series is incredible. Every character is so interesting, so layered, all very flawed, but you still are rooting for them. And honestly, it's ripped my heart out. It's made me cry, it's made me laugh. It's just such a unique series and truly unlike anything I've ever read before. So I know for a fact when I finish Harrow, I'm gonna want to jump right into Nona, so I had to get this in preparation for that. Okay, moving on to what I got at Barnes & Noble this week. I went to Barnes & Noble Sunday because it just happened to be right next to the restaurant my family was eating at. And I can't be near Barnes & Noble without spending money. So I picked up 2 books, mostly because they were on the buy one, get one table. If they weren't on the buy one, get one table, I would have only bought one because my pockets are hurting from buying everyone Christmas gifts this year. So the first one I picked up is Robin Hobb's Assassin's Apprentice. I've heard a lot about this. I've heard a lot about his Realm of the Elderlings series in general. And I've heard it compared to like other really long series like Brandon Sanderson and Joe Abercrombie. And since those 2 are also top of my list for the year, I figured I'm going to dive into this in 2025. I was incentivized. It was on the buy one, get one table. And I'm really excited to start this one. I really don't know anything about it, but I'm kind of keeping it that way. I want to go in blind and be surprised. The other book I picked up is The First Sister. I've heard little to nothing about this. I actually saw it in Barnes & Noble a couple months ago and was drawn to the cover because it is really cool. And I've just been on a sci-fi kick. I probably read more sci-fi than anything else this year. Next close with fantasy, but like Sun Eater and Red Rising, I did both of those series over 6-7 books this year. I did The Locked Tomb. You know, it's just been a sci-fi year for me. So I figured I'd finish it out with another new sci-fi. I saw someone describing this on Book Talk as sapphic sci-fi and all the main characters are women. That's right up my alley. And since I'm reading Harrow the Ninth right now, Lesbian Necromancers, why not get into another lesbian sci-fi book? Of course. This one is a little beat up, but I kind of looked past it since it was on the buy one, get one table. And also it was the only copy they had in the store. So I was like, maybe I'll go and find it to where it isn't beat up, because Barnes & Noble is expensive and I don't really want to drop $15 to $20 on a paperback if it's not in like perfect condition. But since I couldn't find another book that I wanted on the buy one get one table and it was 50% off, I said fuck it and I picked it up. I'm probably going to read this before the end of the year just because it's shorter and I am desperate to meet my reading goal. I'm currently 7 books behind my reading goal right now. I said I'd read 50 and I'm at 43. I know reading goals technically don't mean anything, but to me, I'm letting myself down if I don't hit that goal. Last year, I literally only read 4 books. So I don't know why I set my expectations so high. I had some stuff happen this summer, and like my summer, I just didn't really read much because I was like in and out of the hospital. So I'm trying to make up for that, and I'm trying to make December like my most read books this month. I'm in the middle of reading Harrow, like I said, Harrow the Ninth. I'm in the middle of reading Dark Rise. I also never finished the 3rd book in the Poppy War. It's actually right here. I don't know what it was. I was reading it and I just wasn't feeling it. So I put it down and that was like in April. So I'm hoping I can finish this. I also never finished Hell Followed With Us. Here it is. Also another book I got halfway through and I just stopped. I don't know. I felt like I knew where this book was headed and I didn't want to see it happen. So it wasn't really about the author or anything. Same with Poppy War. Like I love that series. It's just like I'm a mood reader and I just apparently really wasn't feeling it. So I think I'm going to finish those so I don't DNF them for the year because I feel like if I wait till next year, I'm never going to finish them. And then I'm also doing, I always say it wrong, but James Islington's other series, The Shadow What Was Lost. I'm on the 2nd book of that right now on audiobook. So if I read all of those, I'll hit my goal. But pray for me because I'm not feeling super confident.